As you may have seen in the news, we began this year's City of Olympia budget discussion with a $6.4 million deficit. This was a carry forward of a $6.7 million deficit that carried from 2024 to 2025. There's a strong desire by City Council to not use reserves as part of balancing this year's budget. The concern was that we should maintain some capacity to meet an even rainier day in the coming years. And that left us with two of our three budget balancing tools: spending reductions and revenue increases. So what you see on the slide here is where we're currently at in a budget proposal. Council is considering two revenue requests: a legislatively authorized public safety sales tax of 0.1%, and an increase to the business and occupation tax rate. The business and occupation tax rate has never changed since the tax was put in place in the 1950s. Olympia did put in place just a few years ago a reporting threshold so that people who had less than $20,000 in receipts didn't need to file taxes. We're increasing that in this proposal to $500,000. The businesses smaller than $500,000 a year in gross receipts would not pay the business and occupation tax. This new revenue, paired with some staff reductions, we're down 35 FTEs from 2 years ago, and spending reductions totaling about 1.2 million, will allow us to continue to deliver services on Olympia's priorities for the next 5 or so years. So let me see if I can switch slides, and I will tell you a little bit about what's coming next. Here we go. So opportunities for the public to weigh in. On November 3rd, Council is having a public hearing on the Transportation Improvement Program, the operating budget, and the capital facilities plan. So basically, the operating budget is the general fund of the city. The capital facilities plan is our roads and city buildings, park structures, all of the buildings and infrastructure plan. On November 10th, we're going to have a public hearing to approve the property tax rate. We call it the ad valorem tax, but we're going to approve the tax levy for 2026. On November 18th, we're going to approve an ordinance authorizing these changes to the business and occupation tax if that gets approved. And we're going to hold a public hearing again on the operating budget as it's finalized. And then November 25th, we will have a Zoom check-in right before Thanksgiving for any final budget balancing tweaks. And at December 9th at our council meeting, we will vote on resolutions and ordinances to adopt this year's budget. So a question I've been asked quite a bit is about the longer term budget sustainability work. And I want to offer that this work has been, it's been going on for several years. We've shifted focus to begin examining our staffing and spending against the city work plan, the areas that you see here, our focus areas, rather than by department. And we've begun a priority-based budget analysis to look for synergies and efficiencies to continue to maintain our current level of service in a growing community. This is the shift in thinking that I'm intrigued with. Priority-based budgeting begins by setting strategic priorities, ranking individual programs and services by how they align with our priorities and how well they perform. Then we allocate funding accordingly. It's not about asking, what are we doing today and what does it cost? Priority-based budgeting starts with the question, what should we be doing? It begins by identifying high-level essential services that a city provides, such as public safety, infrastructure, utilities, parks, And it also includes other services deemed mission critical, such as environmental protection, economic development, housing and homeless services, diversity, equity, inclusion and belonging work, and communications. What we do next is list all of our assets, our programs, our services, and the amenities offered under each category, and the costs for each of those items. The result is a grid with service categories at the top, followed by a list of all of the programs that can be ranked from top to bottom according to priority, grouped by these focus areas for our work plan. So this effort has been a big effort. It's been multi-years. This last year, I was really proud that we had about 60 staff, not just directors, but program leads in many different initiatives who were looking closely at what are the services they deliver, how is their staffing set up. And so we've completed a first level of comparable city analysis, and these staff teams across departments are reviewing their initial prioritizations to make sure that the story we create by gathering this data aligns with reality on the ground, and we can continue to deliver to you the services and the amenities that you expect from Olympia. So this is just a quick budget update, and I will keep you posted as we move through the process. And I'd encourage you to track the process and to weigh in if you'd like in those opportunities I listed for public hearings. Take care.